just like 30 more seconds, and then we'll talk about training and then working out in your 50s. So I'm 54 and I go to the gym 5 days a week. I go to the gym 4 to 5 days a week. Right now I'm on, I'm just plugging my phone, sorry. Right now I'm on 5 days a week, but I think I'm going to switch to 4 days a week for the summer, just because it's summer. But also, like, I don't need to work out 5 days a week either. So that's just going to give me a little bit more time in the summer. So basically what I do is I follow I'll have 2 days for lower body, and then it's 3 days of upper body, but it's like one day is back and biceps, and then another day is chest, triceps, and biceps again, and then there's like shoulders and triceps, and then there's chest and biceps. Yeah. So I'm hitting the arms twice a week, back once a week, and then legs twice a week. And so I kind of want to switch that up, right? Because I would rather hit chest. I'd rather hit upper body twice a week. And honestly, I'd rather do a little bit more shoulders. And I definitely want to hit my legs twice a week for sure. So I don't really give a shit that much about my back. I know, trust me, I do enough, right? But this particular phase, I'm over it. It's like 4 exercises for back. And I'm like, I can't even see my back. Like, I'm good. Like, I don't need to do, like, I keep the pull-ups. I hate doing the pull-ups, but I'll keep doing those. But like, it was a supinated row, and then a one arm row, and then a bent over, like, landmine row. And I'm like, it's enough, right? So I'm just kind of over that this week. So I'm like, I need to switch this up. I don't need to do that much for back. So, but I still do my pull-ups, right? Because that is going to give you a little bit more bang for the buck. I still did the rows, but I just trimmed that down. I'd rather see more shoulders, right? There's only 2 shoulder exercises in my workout. So I'm like, let's do more shoulders, right? We're doing plenty of butts. So tomorrow I think I'm starting off with a leg press. And damn, I think I got 345 last week for 4 sets of like 10. So I'm going to up weight tomorrow. I'm definitely going to I'm going to go at 365 tomorrow and see what happens, because my rep range is 8 to 10. So I want to make sure I'm getting 8. So I think for sure that I'll start at 365, but I'm going to push it to 385 for my second set. Yeah. I'll let you know how it goes. Next week too, this Sunday, I'm actually going to go to the gym and show you a body weight workout, right? I don't even need to go to the gym for that, but I promised that I would. So I'm going to be going to the gym and show you a full body workout that you can do at home and for the summer, just to make things a little bit easier. And so that is going to be live streamed into my Facebook group. So if you want to check that out, it's going to be at 8 p.m. EST. So you can check out the link here in my bio and then see that workout. So looking forward to that. And but I did want to talk about like how to progress your training, right? So I think people think that they have to be sore after every single workout, and that's actually not a great indication that you had that you're making progress. If you are super sore after your workouts, like for 2 to 3 days, like if you crush a leg day and then you can hardly walk the next day, or it's like torture to sit down and get back up from the toilet, then you did too much. And so at that point, you have done damage to your muscles. Instead of creating a overload to the muscle, you went too far, you pushed it too far. So now your body can't adapt by making more muscle. All it's doing is adapting, is repairing the damage. And so you're kind of wasting time doing that approach, always chasing like that, being like completely sore, that now your body is just trying to make up for the damage. So that's not how you increase your muscle. That's not how you increase your muscle mass. So to increase your muscle mass, you want to progressively overload. So you want to make sure that as you go through your workouts each week, even if it's just a little bit, maybe you're doing just a little bit more weight, or maybe you got eked out a couple more reps, or even added another set. As long as you are doing that and you're creating progressive overload, then your muscles will adapt to that favorably. But if it's always trying to repair the damage that you caused to it, then you're missing out on that muscle adaptation process. So always being sore is not a great indicator that you had a great workout. And the best way to measure progress is to stick with a routine for 4 to 6 weeks. It really depends. For me, I feel like 4 weeks is too short and 6 weeks is too long. So I like to be somewhere in between. But I feel like the first week of a workout, you just kind of get in the lay of the land anyways. And so like for me, I do prefer like 5 weeks where I'm like, okay, get used to this one and then just push, and then kind of take a deload. So that's how I like to approach my workouts. But tell me what you guys are doing. Like what's your favorite body part to work? I love doing shoulders. Like I like working legs, but some things I really love doing for legs, and the other things that you just do because you have to. Yes, I'm talking to you, Bulgarian split squats. So, but here's the thing, so if you have like the same workouts, then that's how you're going to be able to measure that progress. So you'll know, right, that last week, you actually improved the weight that you did from last week, or you did more upper shin below the knee muscle, calves. So I forgot what I was saying. So yes, to measure progress, if you have the same workout for at least 4 weeks, then we can measure, did you add more weight, or did you add more reps, or did you add more sets? And that's how you know that you're progressing in that workout. Not being sore, that doesn't mean, like, that really is a poor indication of whether you're progressing or not. Now, as far as like progressive overload, you can do more sets, right? You can do more weight, or you can do more reps. And that's how you're going to be able to measure your progress. But maybe the first week of that workout, you might be a little bit sore. I'm not saying that you should never be sore, but you shouldn't be crippling sore either after every single workout, right? That should not be the goal. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to crush it and then just can't walk for 3 days. That's not going to help you build muscle, right? That's just going to have you walking funny for 3 days. And so your body, if it's always trying to repair the muscle damage that you've created, it's not going to be able to adapt and grow stronger. And that's how you actually build muscle. So for ladies, especially in our late 40s, early 50s, I'm 54, it's hard to build muscle, right? So hormones are just not in the best place to do that. So it's hard. So at this point, you want to use every single trick up your sleeve to help build that muscle. And so instead of doing like crazy workouts, like changing up your workouts all the time, or working out until you're completely sore, you want to kind of change that up. And, don't always be doing 3 sets of 10 or, 3 sets of 12, right? One month, go and do maybe 4 sets, maybe go to a 12 to 15 rep scheme, maybe go to 6 to 8, maybe do a 5x5 one cycle, so that's going to help you improve your overall strength. That's what we're looking for, and that's going to help build muscle onto your body and help you get that toned look that you're looking for, right? Is building lean muscle, but always chasing that pump and chasing that being sore for days, that's not going to help you progress. And so make sure that you're lifting as heavy as you safely can. It's not always about, you want to make sure you have good form, right? That's super important to target the muscles that you want to build. And so you should definitely work on feeling that the mind and body connection to that muscle and concentrate on it. Don't just don't just pull in the reps and say, okay, you're done, you know. You have to actually concentrate on that and put your focus on the muscle that you're trying to build, and take your time and take your rest. This is one that I think a lot of women struggle with, is they turn every damn workout into a circuit workout, right? Going through this thing as fast as you can and then trying to get like a cardio burn out of it. That's not the point of a weight training workout. The point is to build the muscle. And so you need to take your rest periods. You need to work with intensity, the correct intensity, but also intention. You know, if you're just there to get it over with, then fucking stay home, you know, because you're not doing yourself any favors by just mailing it in. You know, some days I'll admit I go in there and I'm like, I'm here because I have to, you know, but a lot of times like those turn out to be like the best workouts, because I'm like, you know, I take off the pressure off myself, and you know what, fine, I'll just do 3 exercises and then I'm out of here. And then I put so much focus on those 3 exercises that it kicks ass. And then I'm like, you know what, fine, I'll finish up the workout. So it really depends, right? You want to make sure that you have the intensity, you have the intent, and that you're getting your rest periods in, so that you can do each set with as much weight as you did on the first set. So like today for me, I did dumbbell chest press, and I did a warm-up set with 35, and this week it felt pretty good. So I was doing 5 by 5. So that was my warm-up set, and then I progressed to 40s. Again, easy. I'm like, okay, well, this wasn't this easy last week. And then I got the 45s, and I'm like, okay, now we're talking. Now this is hard. This is taking some effort. But when you take the rests, because something like a 5 by 5, that you can go heavier on that, but you're also going to want to make sure that you're getting like a 2-minute rest. So I set the timer on my phone, like, because I use the Trainerize app, and so there's a little timer on there. Otherwise I'll just fuck around, right? Or I won't take the full rest. And so I want to make sure that I'm definitely getting that 2 minutes in, and then I'm ready to roll for that next set. So I did get in, I got in 50 pounds for 5, 2 sets of 5, and it was heavy. And I knew like the next set, I'm like, I could probably do it. I might only get 4 reps in, right? I'd rather just drop the weight a little bit and then push it a little bit more. And so that was actually the move to do, because then I actually got 7 reps at 45. So then I was questioning, like, should I have done that 50? But it just didn't feel right. So you kind of got to know, right? Be in tune with that. So I definitely got more out of doing those 7 reps at 45 than just kind of like eking out that 4th rep. But the point is, you should be able to do something like a 5 by 5. You should be able to do that within 1 rep of what you did before. Same with like a, thank you. Same with like say you're doing Bulgarian split squats. You know, if you could do, I see people like they're going pretty light on these. They're like doing 10 pounds in one hand. And I know for sure that you could probably do more than that, assuming that we have the mobility for that. Now, a trick for you ladies, when you are doing those Bulgarian split squats, rather than hiking your foot up to a high bench, you don't need to be that high on the bench, right? That's actually going to probably throw off your balance. And it doesn't need to be that high. So what you can do is you can go to the Smith machine, or you can use the back of like my favorite is using the a decline squat. And so I can like adjust it to where like my comfort level is. I actually want my foot to be a little bit more below the knee rather than above the knee, because that's what's throwing you into a weird position. So if you can get your foot below the knee, then you're going to have an easier time with those Bulgarian split squats. You're going to have more control, and you're going to be able to do more weight. So for me, I think it's either 8 to 10 or 10 to 12. I think it's 10 to 12. And so I was doing 60s, and then I'm like, I got to 12, and I'm like, I definitely could have done like 3 more. And fuck if I don't want to do 3 more of those, right? And I was like, nah. So I got to get more weight, because I'd rather be at like the 10 to 12, right? And doing the 10 and just being gassed out, rather than being like, no, now I got to do more reps. So I grabbed 70 pounds, so 35 pounds in each hand, not 70 pounds in each hand. But So then for that set, I was like 10. I was like, I could do one more. And then I got 11. And so I was like, all right, that's cool. So next week, like, and I write all this down, and I write those notes down as well. Like, and I write myself funny notes, right? Because I like to amuse myself. And so I wrote down, don't be a pussy, increase weight next week. And so hey, I'm my own biggest fan. So next week I will see that and I'll be like, all right, don't be a pussy, increase your weight, right? So that's, you gotta give yourself like little pep talks on that stuff, because especially for something like that, I'm like, I don't want to do it. I do not want to do this right now. So I could definitely puss out and be like, I want to do it. But when I see that, sack up, bitch, then yeah, then I do it. So it's just that it's having that kind of intensity. That doesn't mean you're always going to be like, a freaking rock star every time, right? Next week I could pick up that 70 and do it and just barely get 8. So like, I don't even know. And then I'll look and I'm like, God damn it, I'm a pussy. But at least I tried, right? Because sometimes, you'll have different energy levels. And so you have to honor that too. But I think it's I think it's pretty easy to be like, oh, I'm not going to do the intensity, when that's really what you need to overload the muscles. Is, if you're always doing the same weight with the same reps, doing the same exercises, you're never going to progress with that. And so that's my complaint with group classes and stuff like that. It's like they're always grabbing the same 10-pound weights. They're doing basically the same exercises. They're like, oh no, I love classes because it's always different, but there's only so many exercises out there, right? So you're always kind of doing the same shit. I am not against doing the same exercises for 4 weeks or 5 weeks, but then change it up, and doing something different. But if you're always changing your exercises all the time, then there's just no way to tell if you're progressing, so that's my 2 cents. And I am a Group X instructor, okay? I used to be anyways. I'm not anymore. But I saw that for myself, right? I would do my own workout, and then I'd get down there, and then here come the ladies, right? And they look the same year after year after year. And then I noticed other instructors, they were looking the same year after year after year. And so I, was nothing special, but I was changing my body. And then people were like, I want to do what you're doing, right? And so they were following my workouts in my classes, but I'm like, ladies, this isn't really how I'm getting my results. This is how I'm getting paid $20 to do this damn class, right? And get a free gym membership. But it wasn't, doing these 10-pound, bullshit exercises and burpees and I'm guilty as charged. Let's do 20 burpees, right? And then you see these people, I'm like, Jesus Christ, what an ugly burpee. It's like, it's not helping you. If it's hurting you, it's not helping you. But also when you see the shitty form, or somebody's just laying there on the floor because they can't do it, that's not helping anybody, and burpees are just a terrible thing. A lot of people don't have the agility or the flexibility or the strength to do a movement like that, but here they are, right, doing a half-ass burpee and then jumping up and then getting all tired and then hurting themselves. And so, it's not about how tired, how much sweat, how sweaty can you be. And I know that's why my ladies were coming to my classes, was because they would be, oh my God, that was the best workout. Your workouts are always different. Your workouts always kick my ass. But nobody was getting any progress, and so they're looking at me like, hey, but look at you, and I'm like, yeah, because I'm lifting weights. I'm cranking it up in the gym, in the weight room upstairs for 45 minutes before I come down here. So, and then I just stopped doing the classes because it wasn't working. It was actually getting in the way of what I was trying to accomplish, because now I'm doing too much. And then I was not doing the weights at all. And then they're like, wait, you're not doing it with us. So I just stopped teaching Group X classes and just did spin for a little while. And then COVID happened, and then that all ended. So, all right, KSG Forever 5. So, I'm sorry to hear that you're having a tough time with that. And I think as we shift through menopause, it puts a spotlight on your lifestyle. and your habits. And so I would take a look at like what is that, right? And so a lot of women that I see, they're still doing the same things that they did in their 30s and 40s, and just saying like, why isn't this working anymore? And then it's like, well, this used to work, and trust me, it did, right? We used to be able to eat less and exercise more and do all kinds of cardio and eat freaking lettuce and lose weight, and then that stops working. And so, but we're like, why? Wait, I used to know how to do this, and so we try it harder, right? Then we start doing bullshit like intermittent fasting and like all the stuff. There's all the stuff out there, when really it's just shifting your lifestyle. And thank you for the likes. Thank you. I appreciate it. Adjusting lifestyle and shifting habits and doing things to support your metabolism rather than tearing it down. And so that, for me and for everybody, should be weight training, right? Because that's not going to tear down your body. It's actually going to build the body. Whereas cardio, it's just tearing down. It's increasing cortisol. That's going to lead to elevated cortisol and belly fat, increased belly fat. And so that's what the cortisol is doing. Now, cortisol is a stress hormone, and you need some of that stress hormone, but we don't always want it elevated. And so with most of our lifestyles, you're going to be in a stress state. So we're always having kind of those hits of cortisol, right? We get an email, it's like, and then, or even when you're driving in traffic, like when you get like that response to like say somebody almost like sideswipes you, right? And you get that thing in your stomach, right? That's because that's where the cortisol receptors live, and you get that feeling, and that's to protect you, right? That's your fight or flight. But if you're getting those hits of cortisol all the time from like a stupid email from your boss, or you got into a fight, or whatever, so we're always having this elevated cortisol, and then we just add exercise on top of it. It's like putting lighter fluid on a fire. It just keeps raising it, and then it never comes down. And so elevated cortisol is going to suppress melatonin, and so that is going to interfere with your sleeping. So that's kind of what happens to some people. I taught fitness classes years ago and now tried all of those diet fads. Oh, I did. I freaking did everything. I do not do cardio. I do not. I walk. So I'm walking like anywhere from 7,000 steps. I try to get in 7,000 steps a day. Sometimes like 7,000 to 8,000 steps, and that's all that I do for cardio. But a lot of my time I'm sitting here in my ass too. So I have a sedentary job. Right? I'm sitting here doing videos here. I just got off of doing a master class earlier, telling women how they can lose weight in their 40s and 50s without giving up wine or chocolate. So I'm doing a lot of this sitting on my butt. So, but I don't do cardio. I work out 5 days a week. I'm shifting that to 4 days a week in the gym. My workouts are 45 minutes long. I feel like there's nothing good happens after 45 minutes. I kick ass in that 45 minutes that I'm there. I'll make sure I get my rest periods and all this, but my workout will only have like 6 exercises in it. So that gives me plenty of time to get in my rest. My workout's about 45 minutes. And then I'm out of there. Sometimes I go in the massage chair because I do go to Planet Fitness, but it was really hard to keep up with all of that, especially teaching classes. And then people would call like, oh, subbing, and then I'd have to do this class and this class. And then like I was known for my intense classes, right? It was going to be kick-ass, like to the point where there would be some people that wouldn't come to the class because they did Melissa's class on Monday, and now they're going to be too sore for this. And so it was like, kind of got a reputation as having a hard class, and like I worked for that. But then I realized like I'm really not doing anybody any favors, so shifted out of that. I feel like, what was I talking about before that? I don't remember, but menopause is like a whole new ball game. And so it's really about what can you do to bring stress down instead of adding to stress, So doing those things. Oh, that's right. So elevated cortisol is going to suppress melatonin. And so what happens is we keep having that cortisol, right? So I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but you're exhausted at like 5 o'clock, right? It's like, oh my gosh. And then like right around 9 o'clock or something, then you get another hit and you're like, all of a sudden, who's awake, right? Now let's start cleaning the house. Let's start putting the dishes away. Let's do the laundry. Let's, get this stuff done. And then, you have that elevated cortisol when in fact, that is when melatonin, so cortisol should be on the down and then melatonin should be rising, and that's going to help you go to sleep. But now you can't because you have this cortisol rush that pushed out melatonin because the two are opposites. You can't have one and you can't have them both at the same time. So one's going to push one down. So now you can't sleep and then you wake up exhausted, and so that's when your cortisol should be rising is right around 7 a.m. or so. It starts to peak at like 11. And so then from there, then it should slowly go on to a decline, and then melatonin takes over usually around 8 or so. And so it's really important to get out into the sunlight so that you can regulate that, because the circadian rhythm, this is what your body, that's like your internal clock, right? It goes by the sunlight. So for us with, being closer to the hemisphere, you're going to have a little bit more of a regulation and not so much of those long nights and long or short nights. But no, now I'm not even talking about fitness at all. So I don't want to get too deep in the weeds. But, it's really about just doing things that are going to support your metabolism rather than tear it down when you're in menopause. And so being super stressed isn't helpful for when you're in menopause because you're already in a stressed state with your hormones. So what can we do to support that? And then what are the things? So I always look at it as, and I don't know if you've ever heard of Sam Miller, but I did his specialization, and that in hormones and metabolism, and he always refers to it as drains and charges. So what's a drain to your body and what's a charge for your body? Things like sunlight and sleep, those are all going to be charges. Exercise, depending on what it is either going to be a drain or a charge. So if you're beating your ass with cardio, that's a drain to your metabolism. But if you're doing like a walk where you're going outside and getting some sunlight, that's actually a charge for your metabolism. So kind of look at things like that way. And what's going to be a drain, what's going to be a charge? Well, you can look at diet as that as well. So if you are eating too much or if you are eating too little, that's going to be a drain on the metabolism. Now, most of the women that I work with, they are not eating enough. So that's a huge drain on the metabolism. So trying to get them to eat more calories, increase their protein, right? That is now going to be a charge to the metabolism. And so on the other side, some people are eating way too much for their metabolism. Again, that is going to be a huge drain instead of a charge. And so all these things, they all work together. So what can you do? And it's so boring, but like, what can you do to support your metabolism today? Right? Going to bed, right, at a reasonable time. Blue lights, right? This kind of environment, like I'm going to have to shut this down pretty soon because like all this light all the time, and I have my blue blocking glasses, so sexy, but I do wear those when I'm in front of the computer all day, and so that helps a little bit. But always being exposed to that light, especially if you're sitting there on your phone watching TikTok at night, that is a drain, not a charge. And especially too, because sometimes it could be stressful, right? Or it could get you like excited, right? And have that response when you really should be calming down and should be sleeping. So that's all. But as far as exercise goes, you don't always have to be sore. Sore isn't a good indication that that was a great workout. Do I eat clean? No. Do I count calories or macros? Yes. So I use a flexible dieting approach for all my clients and myself. I leave it up to them whether they want to eat clean or not. But I do have chocolate, I have popcorn, I have bagels, I have cream cheese, And so, like, I think it depends on, like, how do you define clean, right? So, but I think I understand what you're asking. And so I think I would have to say, no, I do not eat clean. I used to. I used to for years, and or was juicing, or I was on a cleanse, or I was only organic and not eating meat, and like all kinds of, I freaking did it all. I did it all. So so I know what doesn't work. Because I did it all, and I wasn't getting any results. All right, how do you get rid of your postmenopausal belly from getting bigger? Eating whole foods and 10,000 steps. I don't I don't think you need to do 10,000 steps unless that's where you're at. So, like, if you typically get 5,000 steps, then I wouldn't say go to 10,000 steps. So I don't know where you are exactly. Um, I'm not going to say not to eat whole foods, right? Absolutely eat whole foods, but there's nothing wrong with having, going to a Mexican restaurant and having a margarita and the chips and the guacamole. There's nothing wrong with having a Ben and Jerry's ice cream. There's nothing wrong with having some chocolate. There's nothing wrong with having a everything bagel with cream cheese on it. So yeah, I eat plenty of vegetables. I get like 30 to 35 grams of fiber. That's all coming from, vegetables. That's coming from some of the grains that I eat. So it's incorporating everything. I don't take anything out of my diet, I guess we could say. Including alcohol. So I do have alcohol as well on the weekends. And yeah, so I guess it depends on what you're doing now. And, if you're stuck, then book a call with me and then we can talk about what's going on. So to do that, you could go to the link in my bio. Also, one thing that might help is, like, a lot of women are not eating enough calories. Like, a lot of women aren't eating enough calories, and maybe they don't know, right? So, 1,200 calories seems to be like the magic number, but there is such a small percentage of women that should actually be eating 1,200 calories to lose weight. Yet so many women are doing that. So go to my online calorie calculator and see how many calories you should be having for your body. Not to lose weight. Check out what your maintenance calories are, because that's what your body needs to run optimally. Now, if you're always under that, like all the time, then your body just got used to those lower calories, and now you're not going to be able to lose weight, but you're also not giving your body the nutrition that it needs. So if you are retaining belly fat, that's because A, you're eating too many calories, or B, you're not eating enough calories, and now your body is just storing those calories that it's hoarding it, right? You're now a fat storer instead of a fat burner. And so if you can get those calories in line, increase your protein, then your body's going to say, okay, whoa, we're actually getting the calories that we need, so we don't need to store this fat anymore, so get this fat off my body, right? But if you're always on a diet, always being a miser with the calories, not giving your body the nutrition that it needs, because that's what maintenance calories are, then you're going to see symptoms of that. And number one is belly fat and weight gain, but also things like fatigue, brain fog, zero energy, low libido, sleep issues, digestion issues, problems with your hair, your skin, and your nails. Start to see food intolerances, start to see that you're reacting to alcohol differently. Did I mention sleep issues? Probably. Anxiety, right? And then you're sitting there ruminating about all the things that, like, you should have said, oh, why didn't I say that, right, at night, and now you're not sleeping. Moodiness, like snapping at people, like intolerant of people, right, where they really do stupid shit, and people do stupid shit all the time, but it really drives you nuts, right? That's just part of, like, the mood, and you're on edge, right? Stressed, totally stressed. So So I'm going to go because I have to do all my clients' programming tomorrow, and I just looked and I'm like, oh boy, it's going to be a big fat day. So I am going to have a glass of wine and then and then get some sleep. So thank you very much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it, and I appreciate the likes as well. And I hope to see you. Either you could join my free Facebook group, and I have a ton of information in there. So, KSG Forever 5, thanks for hanging out tonight. I appreciate it. And if you have any more questions, just shoot them over to me. TikTok is hard to communicate on. Definitely way easier to communicate with on Facebook. But if you're not on Facebook, that's cool. I'm not always on TikTok, and literally I like have to put my glasses on to like read the tiny little messages on TikTok. So sometimes I'll get a message, I'm like, I can't fucking read that thing. So it's not the best way to get in touch with me, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So whatever questions that you have, bring them on. I'll eventually get to them, and I'll be back here on Sunday night. Sunday. Yeah. Sunday, I'm actually at 8:00. I'm going to live stream into my Facebook group. I'm going to actually I'll be at the gym, and I'm going to show you guys a, at-home workout at the gym, doing an at-home workout, but like an easy to do, summer workout that you can just bang out really quickly. So thank you very much. And I'll talk to you